Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today I am creating this fun kind of watercolor card using a close to my heart stamp set that is currently in my shop. It is a pre-owned stamp set, and I wanted to showcase this one. It is called Love in Bloom, and I wanted to showcase it because it is an older stamp that has yellowed a little bit, and I just wanted to show that it still works perfectly fine even though it is older and a little bit yellowed. And what I've learned about yellowed stamps is that at least in the past, when they would create the photopolymer stamps, they were created with light somehow in the manufacturing process. I don't know if they currently manufacture the same, but it still works perfectly fine. This is a super cute stamp set, and I had a lot of fun using it. So again, this one is called Love and Bloom. It is one of the items that is pre-owned, and I just put up in the shop today. So if you aren't aware, I did recently start a website where I have some pre-owned items as well as items from my own stash that I am de-stashing. So I thought it'd be fun to use this stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this up on some Bristol Smooth cardstock. I am using some VersaFine black ink because I will be using some water reactive markers or water-based markers. And so I love using Bristol Smooth for that. That's my paper of choice. But as you can see, this stamped up perfectly fine. It is kind of like more of a sketchy stamp, so that's why you kind of see the broken lines, but that is how the stamp is supposed to look. But it's stamped up just fine. I had no issues whatsoever. So I'm going to stamp some of the flowers more than once. Wasn't quite sure the layout exactly. And I also wanted to talk about these markers that I just recently purchased. They're Chromatech markers. I have a set of Zig markers that I've had for probably 4 years, and I wanted to get some more colors, and they are a little pricey. And so what I ended up doing was I found these Chromatech markers on Amazon. They are very similar in the barrel size, in the lid, in the cap, and the brush tip. They are very similar to the Zigs at a much cheaper price, and so I thought I'd go ahead and use them in this video today so you could see how they work. I will say this is, other than swatching, this is my first time actually using these. So while I can say that I enjoyed using them and they seem very comparable to Zig markers, as far as longevity goes for these, I don't know. I have to check back with me in a couple of years. And I say that because I did have some other brush markers that were a lower price point that I rarely used. And then when I did pull them out to use them, quite a few of them, the ink was no longer coming out of the pen, and so I don't know if that's because they were a lower price point or just not as well made and the ink for whatever reason dried up. So I don't know if that's going to happen with these or not, but I can tell you that my Zig markers, like I've said, I've had for about 4 years or so. I have not had to replace them, and granted, I don't use them all the time, but even not using them, I've had them for years and they aren't dried up. So we'll have to see if these stand the test of time. But for right now, I think they work beautifully, and they go down really well. The colors are really beautiful. They move really well with water. And so basically what I'm doing is I am putting down 2 colors and then spreading those colors out with a little bit of a damp brush. You can definitely use these. They're full strength and not use water at all. You can use them just to color, but I love the watercolor look, and so that is how I'm using them with this stamp. And so I'm also not really concerned about whether or not I go outside of the lines, because again, this is a little bit of a mixed media watercolor card, and so I'm not concerned about the little imperfections that maybe I would be concerned about if I were doing a different style of card. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring up all of these images. And I don't actually end up using several of these when I put the card together. But I'll go ahead and let this dry and then get my scissors out, and I went ahead and fussy cut the images out. And so here you can see some of the images that I used. And then we will set up the card. And I really wanted to do kind of that white splatter against the craft cardstock. And so that's what kind of card I'm going to create. So I've got a piece of craft cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm taking this little circle stamp that is in the set, and I've taken a little bit of white acrylic paint and just put it onto my mat, and I'm going to dip the stamp into that acrylic paint and then stamp it off once and then stamp it onto my cardstock. It just gives it a nice effect. And the reason that I'm using acrylic paint as opposed to maybe like a white pigment ink and stamping that is because I like the imperfections and kind of the blobbiness that comes out by doing this. As well, acrylic paint dries really fast compared to a pigment ink, and so I did not want to worry about waiting for that pigment ink to dry, and so this is a great alternative for that because acrylic paint does dry really fast. So I cleaned the stamp off very well, so this is in my shop now. You'll see if you are interested in it. I cleaned the stamp off very well, so it does not have any paint on it at all. But I went ahead and I used that stamp, and now I'm going to start putting together my card. And I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do with the layout. I kind of liked it with just a single flower, but I was like, well, I colored all these. I don't want to not use at least some more of them. And so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of move things around and see how I like the different layouts. And so I've kind of settled on at least a start. So I'm going to take some liquid adhesive and glue down one of those stems. And then I'm going to grab kind of one of the doodle flowers and add some foam to the back of that, as well as some liquid adhesive. And I'm going to pop that up. And I kind of feel like I haven't done any sort of mixed media, anything in quite a while. And it's one of my favorite things to do. And so this was really fun to put together and just have a little bit of fun with this. So some of the stems, I went ahead and cut off some of the leaves. It was a little crowded when I tried to put this down. And so for some of the leaves, I just went ahead and cut off some of those, for some of the stems, I went ahead and cut off some of those leaves, and then I'll insert a few of them kind of in the background when I decide on the entire layout. So the sunflower is kind of just sitting in the back without any stems. It is pretty hidden, so you can't really tell that it doesn't have its own stem. And then again, I went ahead and I inserted some of those leaves in the background. I don't end up using the butterflies on this card, but I might go back and add it later because when I watch this video over, I kind of like at least one of the butterflies on there. It doesn't look too bad, so I might go ahead and add that later. And then I'm going to use up a little bit of that leftover acrylic paint that is on my mat. So I went ahead and I took my spray bottle and I spritzed that to kind of activate that and get it wet. And then took my brush and just added a bunch of white splatter. The sentiment is coming from this smaller, I think this is a 4x4 set from Close to My Heart. This one is also in the shop. I think it's called Little Buzz or something like that. But I went ahead and I grabbed the sentiment from that stamp set, and it's going to say sending you or sending joy your way. And the great thing about this type of card is the sentiment doesn't have to be straight in any way whatsoever. And so that is the finished card. I really love how it turned out, and I had a lot of fun creating it. Again, this set is called Love in Bloom. It is a beautiful stamp set, and this is called Something Splendid. This is another one that is up in the shop today. It looks like it's a layering stamp set. It looks like it's in excellent condition. And I think one of the best things about Close to My Heart stamps is the little pocket that they give you. I store ephemera in it, so the pockets are really great storage items as well. But that is it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video or find it informative, I would love a thumbs up. Of course, I will leave links to the products I used in the description below, as well as my storefront. So I hope you check that out. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time.